All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to our first October team call for 2016. We have an awesome guest speaker for you guys tonight. Her name is Alexis Doss, but I have a few little housekeeping things real quick. For those of you guys that did not know about our Takeout Done Right group, we are wrapping that up for Thursday and Friday, but it's been an amazing, incredible group. So if you guys want to see what that's all about, feel free to ask to join it. You're more than welcome to join. The other thing is we will have an opportunity event coming up soon. After I come back from Disney, we're going to do a live webinar where I'm going to talk about just me and my story with Beachbody and how I got started, and just give people a chance to kind of hear about this opportunity and why it's so amazing and why they should join. So I'll post the details about that in our team page. And the last thing is our team retreat. I spoke to some of my leaders today, and I made a big whoopsie and did not realize that the weekend that I scheduled the team retreat for is also the same weekend as South by Southwest, which is going to make for a hell of a time for traveling for you guys. And it's also going to basically shut down the city. That's what Austin is known for, is South by Southwest and the ACL. And when that's here, the city is nonsense, and we won't be able to get in anywhere or do anything. So I hope nobody has booked flights already. I know I asked the leaders and none of them had, but we're going to change the date of that, and I will get back to you. I'm trying to secure a house right now. I just realized this recently, and I wanted to make sure that I ran it by some other people to make sure that they would still be able to attend the event. So but right now I'm thinking the 15th through the 18th. So mark that down in your calendar, the 15th through the 18th for our team leader retreat. And I'm sorry about that. So hopefully that doesn't mess up anybody's plans to be there. I really do, but I don't want anybody to what?
Can you say the dates again?
The 15th through the 18th. So it's Wednesday the 15th.
Okay, cool.
Through that Saturday. But yeah, I just know that it will be miserable for you guys. Our airport is going to be super crowded. We won't be able to get into the restaurants we want to go to, and downtown is going to be a hot mess, which screws with everything that I wanted to do. So it's just it wouldn't be fun for anybody unless we were actually going to South by Southwest, which we're not. So I apologize about that. I will make a post about that, and we'll do the updates when it comes to once I have the house secure and all of that. Hopefully, I'm still waiting to hear back from the realtor. We'll be able to still have the house that we wanted to have. But if not, we'll make it work. I will find something, even if y'all crash in my house. So anyway, those are the housekeepings. Those are the updates. I don't have Success Club final numbers because some are still being updated. And I will post that soon. But I know you guys are all here to hear Alexis and not me. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce you guys to her. Alexis you can find her on Facebook at One Fit Coconut. That is her Facebook page, and where she runs most of her business. She is Megan Saini's success partner, which is kind of how I was introduced to Alexis on the cruise this past year. And she is basically her mission, I guess, and Alexis, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that she is somebody who she wants to help women who have PCOS, and she wants to help them realize that they can overcome anything and, live healthy and strong and be bold and beautiful no matter what happens, and that weight loss is not something that's impossible for them, having been through it herself. She's also somebody who studied at IIN, which is the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Many of you guys know about that because I've talked about it before. She is a 3-star diamond coach, and oh no, I lost it. 3-star diamond coach, and she signed up in March of 2013, and we're almost like birthday sisters when it comes to that. I was February of 2013. She's a 6-figure earner, a Success Club 5 All-Star, and she has developed this system which has become very popular. At least I think it has, because I've heard so many people talk about it, which is the ADOS method when it comes to recruiting. So I've asked Alexis to come here today and share that with us, because because it really is something that is so simple, you guys, and she just has a great way of breaking it down and helping everybody understand who to talk to and where to find them and how and all of that good stuff. So Alexis, I'm going to turn it over to you and let me know if I missed anything.
Oh, no, you're fine. I think you got everything. I guess the one thing would be that, I mean, I'm one fit coconut on everything, but it's specifically too, just because this call is kind of about it. Most of my stuff, I do run my stuff on Facebook, but my jam is Instagram. I post pretty much everything that I post on my Instagram on my Facebook page. So I guess they're both kind of similar. But I live and breathe like Instagram, and all that stuff. So I have like a little slide presentation I'm going to share with you guys. But anytime I speak on a team call, I like to quickly share a little bit about me, just because I'm a big connector. I'm a big emotional person, and this whole thing is about building relationships. The backbone of this whole system is building relationships. So that's why I like to talk about it. But the reason why I want to talk about it too is because I find that a lot of coaches, the reason why they aren't successful isn't because they don't know how to do something, or they feel like they suck at inviting, or they're not good at posting, or they can't be consistent. It's all a mindset thing. And my team's motto is be confident, be fit, be you. And I'm so big on positive mindset and, all of that stuff. So I like to tell people a little bit about my background. So if you feel like you're in a position in your business where you feel like you're like, I totally suck, or I'm not going to be good at this, or whatever you're telling yourself is the reason you can't do this business, you totally can. Because when I first joined as a Beachbody coach, I won't get too much into it because I could talk all night about it. But I was supposed to go to school for high school history, and I've ended up moving across country, got in an emotionally abusive relationship, had 2 eating disorders, was homeless for about 3 months, and also was like 40 pounds overweight and obviously really broke if I was homeless. But I was just like a mess. And I signed up to be a Beachbody coach when I was all of those things besides homeless. I eventually got back up on my feet. But I was like 40 pounds overweight. I was depressed. I was suicidal at times. I still had my eating disorders. So if you feel like it took me like a year and a half to like figure out myself. And then for this process, I didn't figure it out right away. So if you're going to try this process, which I suggest that you do, just give it time. Don't get you might get frustrated, or you might feel like it's not working, but it is a process that works, but it does take time because it's about building relationships with people. And this is something I say anytime I speak on a team call. I say it in the beginning, I say it at the end, and I'm all about tough love. So I don't say this to be mean, but I say it to maybe push people to do it. Most people, the reason why a lot of people ask me, do you ever feel bad about or feel worried about sharing this formula because, you're giving your secrets away to other people? One, I do not believe that there is any shortage of success. Anyone can have any amount of success. Two, I don't get worried about it because most of the people that I speak on team call and they go through Josh's training and they watch me teach this, 75% of the people will watch this and they'll be like, oh, that was so great. I took a lot of notes. It was awesome. And then you will go home and you will not do it. You won't do a single thing. And I'm not saying that and to rub it in anybody's face. I'm saying it to make you do it. This will work, but you cannot let the notes that you take just be pages, just being words on a piece of paper. You have to go out and implement and try it. So I'll get off my little soapbox. I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me know if you can see this. I'm going to hit play. So I won't be able to see anybody. Actually, should I guess I can do this and scroll around because I don't like not being able to see anybody because then I feel like I'm all alone. But you guys, can you guys see this? Are we good? Can you see this? Good. Thumbs up. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure. So this presentation is about my whole system. Maybe if you've been in Josh's group or if you heard about the ADOS formula or the ADOS method, this is what this is going to talk about. I'm going to talk about some things that kind of intertwine with it because they are important. I can't tell, the story of that without the other things. So the first thing I tell people who are going to do this, I tell my team, and it's like, now that we have 4 vital behaviors, I joke around that it's my 5th vital behavior, is that you have to be creating a contact list weekly. So says the story, go for no. For every 10 people you talk to, you're going to hear 9 no's, you're going to get 1 yes. So in theory, if you want to hit Success Club 5 and you want to help your 3 people, you should be inviting at least 30 people in a month to your coaching, to your challenge group, whatever. That's like a person a day. Because then in theory, you should hit Success Club. So I suggest my coaches make a contact list every Sunday. I always say do it Sunday, Saturday, whenever you have some free time. I don't really work on Saturdays and Sundays, but I make sure that I make my contact list. So I sit down and for 30 minutes to an hour, I make my new list of people, not follow-ups, not any of that stuff, a new list of people. And you can make that contact list however you want. You can find people in Facebook groups. You can find people through hashtags. Whether you're just going through the hashtag, people always ask me too, what hashtags go through. Don't use clean eating. Don't use meal prep. Use things that are specific to you. So yoga mom, I like kombucha. I like to use different hashtags that are specific to different kinds of brands. So Laura Bar, Vitamix. And the good thing about Vitamix and Lululemon is people who are willing to spend $100 on a pair of yoga pants or $400 on a blender probably are going to be willing to spend $140 on a challenge pack. Just saying. So I like to use hashtags like that. I also like to go through on Sunday. I will go through all my social media likes and comments, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram, and anyone that liked or commented on stuff. If it's a new name that I haven't seen before, I will write their Instagram handle down. Now, I message these 2 people in different ways, and I'm gonna talk about that. But I make sure that I have at least, I personally, depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I'll do 60 people a week. Other times I do 30. Sometimes I have a ton of people messaging me, which isn't always. For some reason, this week is like that. Other weeks I have 0 people messaging me. So sometimes I don't have to. So it kind of all depends. But a minimum of 10 people a week. Because imagine if you go into your week and you don't have to think about or worry about who the heck you're going to message. You're not just picking people out of thin air. You have your people, you message them. Because again, I'm talking about this because this process is about messaging the people. And whatnot. So that's kind of, the process I go through. So I'm going to see if I want to, okay. So before I go into the rest of this, so just really quick, because I like to talk about this, because again, I've done this presentation so many times. I like to cover questions that I usually get at the end. So with people who, have I find them through hashtags. I'm going to message them just a message that is basically I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm not trying hey, I saw you like my post. Do you want to buy this? I just say, hey, I just came across your page. I saw that, you're killing it. I love what you're doing. Keep up the good work. Something where I'm just flattering them. That's where I'm, what I'm doing. With the social media likes and comments, I always give this example. So one time I posted a picture. I have a little English bulldog, Ned. He's absolutely adorable. He is a grain-free dog. So I posted a picture of grain-free dog treats. So I posted the picture, and anybody that liked that picture, I went through the list. I wrote down their name. And then when I went to message them, my people for the week, I messaged every single one of those people, even if I've never talked to them before, and say, hey, I noticed you liked my picture of Ned's grain-free dog treats. I'm always looking for other really good grain-free dog treats. Do you know of any kind, or is your dog a grain-free pup or whatever? And again, it's just like moms. People love talking about themselves and things. So if you're a mom and you posted a picture of I don't know, a breast pump or something, and you message all the moms, do you know good brands of this or whatever, however you want to word it. Moms and dog moms love talking about themselves. So they're going to engage in a conversation with you. So that's the way I message them. I also posted a picture of Trader Joe's cashew butter one time, and anybody that liked it, I messaged them and I said, hey, have you ever tried Trader Joe's cashew butter? It's so much better than the almond butter. If you try the almond butter, you have to try the cashew butter. Again, just to start a conversation with them. So that's kind of how I do that. I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit, but I just like to cover that because people usually ask that right away. So before I continue with all of this, you have got to be tracking your contacts. If you are writing your contacts on a piece of pen and paper, and that's how you track your people, again, and I can yell at you guys for this because I was doing that for the first 1.5 years of my business. Anything I say don't do, I can say because I did it and it doesn't work. I mean, it worked, but it works so much better. So whether you're using Teamsy, Asana, Google Streak, whatever it is, I implore you to be tracking your people. And if that means, I tell my team, if you've been coaching for a year and you have a ton of contacts, but you really don't have a way of tracking them, if you have to take 2 to 3 days off of your business and you just work on getting your Google Streak set up or your Asana or your Teamsy set up, and you take that little bit of time off, but you set yourself up instead of like trying to do a little bit every single day, you will be set up for success. And if you want to do this ADOS formula, you have to be tracking, because you cannot keep track of this without it. You will go insane. It's not a crazy thing. Like Lauren said, it's very simple, but you have to save yourself the craziness, because a lot of coaches, the reason why they get frustrated with their business is because they work a full-time job and they come home, or they work at night and they work in the morning, and they sit down at their computer and they're like, I'm going to work my business. And then they're just like, what do I do? And I feel like using Google Streak, and I have a video, I'm sure you guys have probably heard about Teamsy. I know I talked to Megan about it before, so some of you guys may know about it. I have a video if anybody's interested, if you guys are interested in Google Streak, but I'm sure you guys know about that. But regardless, figure out one of these that you want to use and use them. It's very important to be tracking. So the whole formula, the process. So with all these people that I find, whether I found them through a hashtag or I found them through social media likes or I found them in a Facebook group, you can use this process in anything. It does not just have to be Instagram. I just talk about Instagram because Instagram's my jam, but you can use it through anything. So I take that list of who I have, and then I send every single one of them a direct message. Most of the time it's going to be a copy and paste message, but it's very personable. It's like my message is like, can I just tell you how much I love your page? I just came across your page going through the kombucha hashtag, and I just love what you're doing. When I first started my Instagram, I just loved looking for people for inspiration, and I found you, and you're killing it. Like, keep it up. Again, not talking about Beachbody, not talking about health and fitness, just flattering them. Flattery goes a really long way. So and I talk about this again because a lot of people don't know about the direct messaging feature. So if you're like, girlfriend, I know about this, I'm sorry, I just have to go over it. So I send every single one of them a direct message. So if you're on Instagram, if you go to your dashboard, you have the little mailbox in the corner. You just click that, you click the plus, you click send message, and then you type their name. And then I copy and paste my message. Now, the thing about it is, if you're sending message to a lot of people, so I build my contact list and then I message all these people on Sunday and Monday, because Instagram, if you message the same message to a certain amount of people, it looks at your account as spam. It doesn't block you, so don't worry. It's not going to like cancel your account. It just like pops up like a little red exclamation point, and it just says like failure to send. And I know it's just because it's looking at my account as spam. So I have to send it like every few hours. But like if if it's a Sunday, I'm not really usually working. So I send my list, I send all my messages to my contacts, and then just do it until all my messages are sent. And then I put all of those people into Google Streak and then set a reminder to check in with them 2 days from now. Because with Google Streak, and I'm sure Teamsy is the same way, I don't know, but you can set up notifications to say, check in, to open up the message to see if they responded 2 days from now, because I don't want to just be randomly checking messages as they pop up. I have a very good system. I work in blocks, so I don't want to just be answering people as it goes. I'm going to, even if their message comes up, I see it, great, hi, how are you? But I'm not going to respond. I'm going to respond in 2 days. Unless you have free time, then that's different. But I always set a reminder to respond in 2 days. So you send all your messages to all your people. You're good. You put them in your Google Streak or however you're reminding yourself. Just whatever it is, you have to remember to check in with all these people. So step 2, this is once you check in with them. So I did this presentation a while ago, so this is a little bit old. So I no longer say because a lot of times they'll respond and they say, oh, thank you so much. Like this message made my day. And I always talk about this too, not to for the shock value of it, but to prove to you guys that you can't worry about messaging people. 2 summers ago, I had messaged a girl the same simple message. I loved her page. I love what she was doing. And she messaged me and basically, to make a long story short, told me that my message came at such the right time that she was so depressed she was thinking of taking her life that day. But my message, I'm not saying it necessarily saved her life, but it was just that whatever I said just was like this little glimmer of hope for her. And when I got that message, I was like, I will no longer be afraid to reach out to people just to start a conversation, because I never know whose life I could possibly change. So just wanted to say that. So usually they respond, and usually they'll say something like, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Like, I love your page too. You're great. A lot of times they'll follow me. Whatever, they'll like a bunch of my stuff. That doesn't necessarily matter. But so then to continue the conversation, what I used to say was, what got you started on your health and fitness journey? And I usually say something like, of course, you're so welcome. I love spreading positivity. The world definitely needs more of that right now. What got you started on your journey? But when I did that, I feel like it made people, maybe some people were kind of like, it did work with some people. Some people did share, what got started on their journey. But I found that I was getting a lot more just like no responses and being ignored from that, because maybe people like went to my page and thought that I was a coach and like wanted to try to sell them something. I don't know. So I just try to build a relationship before them ever, like us ever talking about anything like that. So what I've started to do is, in that second message, once they respond, is to just go to their page and look for something to start talking to them about. So I would say, of course, you're so welcome. I really do love your page. I love what you're doing. I love spreading positivity. By the way, where did you get those blue leggings? They are so freaking cute. Or, what kind of dog is that? He's so cute. How old is he? I have a little bulldog named Ned. Again, just finding something on their page to have them talk about, because again, people love talking about themselves. So then I just continue to build talk to them or build a relationship with them. A question I always get: what do I do if they don't respond? And this is another reason why a lot of people stop doing this process after a while, because if you message 30 people, this whole thing, you build your contact list, you message all of them, you message 30 people, maybe 10 will respond. Maybe. Because one, a lot of them won't respond. One, because they don't even realize that there's a direct message feature. So don't think that they're ignoring you. Some people will ignore you, whatever. It's life. If you want to help people, you're going to have to run into people who are going to ignore you. But I'd rather be ignored 10 times and change one person's life than worry about the 10 people that are ignoring me. So sometimes they're just not going to realize that there's a direct messaging feature. Sometimes they open, they're a mom and they opened up the message and their kid puked on themselves and they ran away and their Instagram closed, and they didn't even notice they opened up the message. So don't take it personally. Take out the emotional connection of like wondering, worry if you're bothering them or if they're ignoring you or whatever. So if I do that again, since 2 days later, I'm checking in, and when I go to open their message and I'm like, oh, they didn't respond, I go to one of the pictures on their page and say, hey, just sent you a direct message on here. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I love your page. PS, love your vibe, or would love to hear from you, whatever you want to say. And a lot of times then people will be like, oh my God, I didn't even notice that you messaged me. I'll go check it right now. Again, so you have to have that check in with them and, commenting on their picture and whatnot. So, the third step. So my whole thing is to, again, build relationships with these people. So from when I first message them and then I, start talking to them about something on their page, my goal is to eventually move the relationship over to Facebook, because I personally, even though Instagram is my jam, do not invite on Instagram. Now, sometimes I do, but for me personally, and I know some other coaches might, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but just for me, it doesn't work. I don't really get a lot of yeses to groups from that. But when I move them over to Facebook, it seems to build more of a relationship. Now, again, I did this presentation a while ago. Now, I ask, do you have a Facebook or a Snapchat? Because I love building relationships on Snapchat. I've signed so many coaches from Snapchat because Snapchat is so much more personable than Instagram. Everybody comments on somebody's Instagram. Everybody says, great picture. Oh my God, this is so cute. I want to eat it. But to get a Snapchat saying maybe the same thing, commenting on their Snapchat, because Snapchat is more personable, getting a Snapchat from someone is almost just as close as getting their phone number, because it's just personable. They get it directly to them. And it's easier than just, having that conversation on Facebook. So I love getting people's Facebook or Snapchat. If you're not using Snapchat, I will put some Gary Vee into your life. Gary Vee always says, if you're, somebody who's like, well, I don't use Snapchat because only kids are on it, you can't romanticize about the idea of only using Facebook and only using Instagram. If you stick yourself into one thing, and I'm not saying you have to have 17 different kinds of social media platforms, but it's worth a try. I mean, I thought Snapchat was the dumbest thing ever when I first heard about it, and now I'm signing coaches from it. And it's because people just see the real you, but that's like a whole nother call for another time. I got to get off my soapbox. So I say, do you have a Facebook? Eventually. So I'm building a relationship with them, talking to them a little bit, occasionally commenting on their Instagram. And then usually after about a week or two, or maybe 3 weeks, I will invite them to Facebook. Usually I can invite them into Facebook within the first like week or so of me talking to them. And then I say, do you have a Facebook or a Snapchat? I would love to stay connected. Somebody like you. I like to surround myself with positive people because I believe if you surround yourself with positive people, that's what you get back to the universe. Everybody usually either says, they're like, oh my God, I agree with that so much. Here's my Facebook, here's my Snapchat. And then boom, I put all their information into Google Streak. I add them on Facebook and I do all of that. Another tip, if you do get somebody's Facebook, you make sure you add them. And once they add you, you message them right away. Because the way Facebook algorithm works is if you become friends with someone and then you message them, Facebook sees it as, whoa, they just became friends. Whoa, they're now messaging. I'm going to push her posts into her feed. So the algorithm is going to make your post pop up into their feed. It's just the way it works. So if you add them as a friend, but then don't message them for a month, that's not going to work that way. So if you add them as a friend and then message them right away, that's going to be beneficial to you. And then if I add somebody on Snapchat, I go to their story and I message them on their Snap about something, because people post, whatever on their Snapchat. So I just go and I chat them on Snapchat as well. So then boom. So then we moved them over to Facebook and Snapchat. Again, still building the relationship. So before I get into the rest of this, the number one question I get is, how do I move the conversation over to health and fitness? Great, Alexis, I built a relationship with this person. How do I end up inviting them? I haven't, in the 3.5 years I've been in this business, never waited for someone to mention they wanted to lose weight or that they're going on vacation. Sometimes that happens and that's wonderful. It's great. It's like, boom, I got it. But my goal is to build relationships with these people, become friends with them. I sometimes know these people's, how they met their husband, what their kids' names are, when they're going on vacation, if they're getting married next year. And you don't have to have, sorry. Stop it. You don't have to have, they're probably going to bark for a second. You don't have to have, I lost my train of thought. But okay, so I build relationships with these people and all of this stuff. And I make sure that I get to the point to where I do invite them. It's not, I don't feel like I'm selling them something or anything like that. I basically am just inviting a friend. I'm like, hey, this, I know we talked about, or we were just talking the other day, but I meant to mention, I'm having this clean eating group. You're going to get a grocery list and a meal plan. It's free. It's going to be really awesome. I don't know if you'd be interested in it, but I'd love to have you. If not, no worries. It's just a super friendly friend invite that I can do because I messaged them on Instagram and just became friends with them. I Snapchatted a bit with them and commented on some of their Facebook pages. And I never wait for the conversation to move to health and fitness. I always tell my team, I like to send my invites outside of the conversation. So let's say I build a relationship with this girl. We talked a little bit on Instagram. We Snapchatted each other a bit. And then once my clean eating group comes up, I send them, a message. So even if I'm the kind of person that doesn't send an invite every single day. I send all my invites on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So for my clean eating group starting on a Monday, I send all my invites on a Wednesday or Thursday. So instead of sending in 2 invites a day, I send like 30 invites in one day. So if I was talking to people on a Tuesday, I know that I send my invites on a Wednesday. So I just go back to the message and message them outside of the conversation. So let's say we were just talking about them going, they went to this really cool breakfast spot. I don't know, whatever we were talking about. So then on Wednesday, I'm going to message them and say, oh, hey girl, by the way, I meant to mention, and then put my invite in there. Cause then I'm just like, oh, hey, by the way, super casual. Like it's, super friendly. I'm not waiting for the conversation to move to health and fitness because I'm not trying to be this like, I'm this person trying to sell you something. I'm just like, yo, we're friends, we're buds. How about you join this group? And a lot of people say yes because they built that trust in me. I've given them value and they feel like we're friends, which we are. I want to be friends with every single one of the people that I talk with. And that's kind of, how I do that whole thing. Because I kind of plan my calendar the same way every month. My first week is nothing. My second week of the month is a clean eating group. The third week on the Wednesday is a sneak peek event. And then the last week of the month is a challenge group. So I know how I'm going to invite them. So a thing I want to add on to this is that I never invite anyone I do this with until I have done this process with them for a minimum of 3 weeks. They will not get an invite from me unless maybe they happen to bring up something and it's so like, oh my God, Alexis, like this is like an open door for you, then maybe. But for the most part, I will build that relationship with them. And then I first invite them to a clean eating group. I invite, unless they're coaches, and that's something I'm going to talk about my next slide. If there's somebody who I'm interested in coaching, then I will, at least talk to them for like 3 weeks to a month and then invite them. But if it's somebody who I like, they're posting that they're eating like lean cuisines and McDonald's and they had 6 Weight Watchers points because they ate a McDonald's hash brown, which they think is good. I know that they probably need my help in the challenge group. So I invite every single one of them to a clean eating group first, because when people don't buy something from you or they tell you that the price is too much for Shakeology, it's most of the time not because they don't see value or not because they don't want to pay the money. It's because they don't see the value in what you have to offer. Not you as a person, but your product. So a woman, me, I'll spend $180 to get my hair done because I see value in it. So will other women. They will buy purses that are tons of money. But if they don't see value in Shakeology because they just think it's another protein shake, or they don't feel like, there's much value within like what you're giving them or whatever, or you're not like inviting them to a clean eating free group first, you know what I mean? They're not going to do that. But if you spend the time building a relationship with them and then invite them to a free clean eating group and give them the value in there, like Gary Vee always says, and I mean this in like a nice way because I'm very much about people, but you want to build relationships with people. Again, sorry, I go off on tangents, but if you haven't read the book Jab, 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 Right Hook, a lot of what my ideas I get from him. But this process I kind of just came up with. I'm sure a lot of other coaches are doing it anyway. But you want to basically become friends and build a community of people and love on them so much that when you invite them, you almost guilt them into saying yes to you. You make it be like they can't say no to you. Like, why would they? Like, you've given them so much value. So that's kind of why I do this. And then I invite all of them to my clean eating group. And then on that Saturday, hey, how did you like the clean eating group? You did? Well, just wanted to let you know, because I let all my clean eating challengers know first, I have a challenge group coming up at the end of the month. Same kind of style, but it's running this really cool app, and you're going to get a workout program in Shakeology. Let me know if you want more information. If not, no worries. And then boom, there's my 30 invites that I sent to a clean eating group, 30 invites to a challenge group. And I do that same process 3 weeks to a month after knowing the people. Because a lot of times people just want to invite someone to a clean eating group right away, and they wonder why they get a lot of no's. Because I look at this system as those little Dutch windmills, those water windmills, where they go underwater and they scoop up the water and they pump it out. This process and this whole thing of meeting people and building relationships, I'm telling you, is going to take a little bit. It takes about 2 to 3 months for you to really get things going. And a lot of you guys might be like, but if you're in this for the long run, if you want to be somewhere where like Lauren is, you have to understand that it's going to take time. This business is so much about patience. Our jobs as Beachbody coaches is not to support someone just when they buy a challenge pack from us. It is to support them through their journey to when they are ready to whether they join a challenge group or join our team. Sometimes that takes a while. I just had a girl join my team that's been following me for 3.5 years. And I am so happy that I did not give up on her after waiting, because she's killing it already. So again, I like to go on my little soapbox sometimes. So just know that this process is going to take a little bit for you to get to that point. So I kind of already talked about the clean eating group invite. My coach invite, again, after building a relationship with these people for 3 weeks, to a month eventually. And again, you have to be at least interacting with these people a bit. So, you don't want to just have messaged them once and then you added them on Facebook and messaged them once and then invited them to coaching. Like, you have to at least talk to them a little bit more than that. But then my coach invite looks something like this, and I send it pretty much the same to everybody. It says, hey, can I ask you a question? I'm sure you've been asked this before, but I just feel compelled to. I've been following your fitness journey for a while now, and I seriously think you would make a great coach. I would love to have someone like you on my team. I know you're probably like, what are you talking about? But seriously, I'd love to talk to you about it. If not, no worries. Just wanted to reach out to you. A lot of times, because I built a relationship with them, they at least want to know more information. There are some people who are like, I'm not interested at all. And I like when people say that, because then I'm just forward and I say, totally understand. And you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but just curious as to why you don't feel that it's for you, because I felt the same way too. If you don't feel comfortable answering that, that's totally fine. And a lot of times people are open. You think that they wouldn't be, but I've gotten, people will give me the reason why, and it's like something that's so easy for me to like get past. Once one girl just thought Shakeology was like Slim Fast, and I was like, oh my God, no. And I sent her the Shakeology ingredient hunter video by Darren O'Lean, and she like signed up the next week. She was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize Shakeology was like that. So So that's kind of that process. And back to the whole thing with Google Streak, because this is my last point and then I'm done and you guys can ask any questions that you have, is, again, in my video, I talk about it because it kind of goes hand in hand with the ADOS formula. So I always offer to send out the video, is that I check in with them, when I send the first message, I check in with them 2 days later. And then whether they respond or I have to comment on a picture, then I respond with them. Then from then until the invite, I set a Google Streak notification to either interact with or message or whatever every like 3 to 4 days with each of these people. And sometimes it's just interacting on their Snapchat. So literally my Google Streak notification will say Snapchat them, and I will Snapchat them like 3 or 4 times over that 3 to 4 week period, get to know them a little bit, and then I send the invite. Again, you can't be inviting someone to something if you haven't ever really had a conversation with them. Now, that's just personally what I do. I know there are some coaches that see a lot of success with just when someone likes a clean eating group post and they say, hey, I saw you like my clean eating group post. Are you interested in joining? I'm not saying it doesn't work. For me, I don't like doing it. But again, I always like to like kind of clear that because I know there's tons of successful coaches that are doing that and it works. Just for me that it doesn't, especially my demographic. I have a younger demographic and I feel like with the younger crowd, I guess, I don't know if it necessarily works. It might work better with like moms and stuff like that. But this process has really worked for me. It's really worked for my team, but it works for the people that are committed to putting in the patience, not necessarily the hard work, because it's really just chatting people and getting to know them. It does take a little bit of time, but the patience in knowing that this will work, you just have to be in it for the long haul, will get you pretty far. So you guys can ask any questions you have. Like I said in the beginning and I'll say it again. If you thought any of this was awesome and you thought it was great, or you want to do it but you want to tweak it a little bit, which is totally fine, like use it as a base and do whatever you want with it. I love that. But do not be a knowledge hoarder. Go out and implement it. Do something tomorrow. Like Tony Robbins always says, listening and writing things down doesn't change your life. Action changes your life. So if you think this is great, wonderful. I'm so happy you thought that. I appreciate the love. But I appreciate it so more if you guys – because I'm getting messages from people now that are like, I've been using your process and it's been working so well. And I love hearing that. The messages saying that the call was great is good, but the messages are even better when, I get messages from people saying that it's actually working. So, I saw a question on the side. Do you invite to the clean eating groups via, for my clean eating groups, again, I'm trying to move everybody over to Facebook. Occasionally, that's another thing I didn't answer, which some people always ask. What if they don't have a Facebook? Then I just continue to interact with them on Instagram. So now I love Instagram stories because it's kind of like Snapchat, because it when you comment on somebody's Instagram stories, it sends it like you're sending them a message. So it's a little bit more private than just commenting on somebody's Instagram when they have 15 other people commenting on their Instagram. So I like to, instead of commenting on people's Instagram if they don't have a Facebook, now I'm just commenting on their Instagram stories. And then, starting a little conversation through that. So when I send my clean eating group invites, almost always, for the majority of it, it's a Facebook invite because I try to move everybody to Facebook. If they don't have a Facebook, my second go-to is Snapchat. I still like to invite on Snapchat versus Instagram because, again, I just feel like it's a little bit more personal, because there are other coaches, there's It Works people that are sending, hey, thanks for liking my wraps. Do you want to buy 5 for $20? Like, no, I don't even know you. So I don't want to be that person. So occasionally I will invite on Instagram. If that's my last ditch effort, I will, but I like to invite other places if I can before I invite there. But it is always a private message. I try to be as private as I can because I just feel like it's more personable. I run my clean eating groups through Facebook, but if you're not using the app, you need to be using the app. The app it's perfect because especially for a challenge group. For clean eating group, it's just confusing for the app because there's like Shakeology and stuff in there. So I still run it through a Facebook group. But with a challenge group, if you're running it through the app, a lot of times you'll have a group on Facebook. Like I used to have groups on Facebook, and people will miss posts because they're on Facebook for other reasons other than just your group. Their grandma's commenting on something. People are tagging them in pictures. Your one quick post that happened, in the morning at 8 a.m. could get lost in the 30 notifications that they got. They're going to get distracted. They're going to get on their newsfeed. If you're in the app, you're in the app and you're in the app. You check in with your Shakeology. You get the notification that is completely separate. And when you're in the app, that is what you're there for. So they're checking in for that and not anything else. So if you're not using the app, you're able to track people. You're able to message them and say, hey, I noticed that you hadn't, because you can see when they check in. Like you can say, hey, I noticed you didn't check in the past few days. Just wanted to make sure to see if everything was okay. If you're on Facebook, you have to scroll, look at the comments. Did this person check in? Did they like it? Did they log their Shakeology? I don't know. Like the app is a no-brainer. Like it really is. And I was against it at first. I will admit that, but I would be lost without it now. It's so much better for our challengers. And even if you don't like it, remember that this business is not about you. It's about helping others and what we can do to help benefit them. So I feel like the app is just really, really beneficial for them. Yeah, I know, but Beachbody does, and I'm sure you know, that Beachbody does such a good job of listening to us. One of the first things that I sent feedback with was, hey, why can we only have one coach admin? Because I always have my new coaches help me run my groups, and they when they would post, the people wouldn't get a notification because it wasn't a coach posting. But now you can have 10 coach admins, and that was the first thing I did, and they already corrected that. I have no doubt that they will somehow figure out a way for us to go live. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. So does anybody have any questions at all? I've done this presentation so many times that I try to talk about all the questions that I've got. I try to include them. So maybe I kind of covered everything. I'm trying to think of any questions that anybody has, but if you have any questions, totally ask me. I like to be asked questions. Oh, another thing that people ask me is, when I build my contact list, do I follow everyone that I add to my contact list? And no, I don't. Depends. Because I don't want to follow every single person, and then I end up having more people I'm following than I am followers, because I'm not all about followers and stuff like that. But when I see somebody's profile who has 3,000 followers, but they are following 7,000 people, that to me just looks like they're just trying to increase their following, and they're just following everybody to see if they follow back. So I don't want someone to think that about my page. And maybe people won't think that, but that's just me personally. Again, the way I say things isn't necessarily the way it has to be. So I follow them if I'm oh my God, I really like their page. I definitely want to follow them. That's great. And then sometimes I will end up following them once I've had a bit of a conversation with them. Because if you've ever messaged someone new from Instagram or something, and then you start talking with them and you're like, oh my gosh, this person is literally giving me one-word answers and definitely doesn't want to talk to me, then I don't want to have to unfollow them. So I will usually follow them once I see how our relationship has gotten. And if we're following each other and we're talking a bit and we're good, then I will follow them. So, yeah. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I know I kind of blab on and I talk really fast, but
does anybody have any questions for her? No. So then I guess that means you did a good job.
I've done it so many times. I usually cover kind of everything that people talk about.
All right. Well, yeah, definitely awesome. It's always great to hear just perspective from other coaches of what's working for them. And I think, I took a ton of notes on here, just, ways in which that she presents things. I mean, honestly, this is not something that you haven't heard before. It is exactly what has been taught to you in so many different ways. It's just that she has it down to a science and a system where, she was saying it's 2 to 3 weeks before she's doing anything. And she shared with you how she sets up her month. And that's so key, is having a marketing plan. And, just because, so she said that she runs nothing her first week, and her second week is a clean eating, and the third week is a business opportunity, and the fourth week is when she starts challenge groups. So that doesn't mean that she's inviting to challenge groups in the week 4. That means that she was probably inviting to challenge groups in week 2, because she is trying to, right, Alexis? She probably has that written down, that is how things work. It's part of running a business. And that's something that I know that for a while, I just winged it. And, to be honest, a lot of times I still am like, crap, I didn't get it done. But, if you can be intentional about setting your business up with knowing she knows the kind of people she wants on her team. So that's important. And this is all stuff that we're adding into that new coach training and how to actually get your business started. We're starting this. So what you want out of your business. Like she knows that, who it is that you want to be going after, a marketing plan that says, this is when I'm doing these groups. And this is when I plan to ask people to join these groups. So, having those things written down in your calendar a whole month or 2 months or 3 months in advance is so key, and it will make your life so much easier. And then when you start tracking these conversations that you're having, it's when it comes time in your marketing plan to start inviting those people and having those conversations, you're already going to know who those people are because you've already written them down. And that's exactly what Alexis taught everybody tonight, which is awesome. Thank you, Alexis. So thankful for that. So if you took nothing else away, it's that this takes time, you guys. It is a process, and you need to be organized in your business and knowing what's coming up and when and who you want to have be a part of it. So that's
and like you said, I think that's like when any coach gets another coach to speak on a team call, everything that anybody teaches anybody is something that you guys have already learned. Sometimes just hearing it from someone else, like Lauren could tell you something 12 times, but another coach could say it. And then you're like, I have people come on my team call and I'm like, I told you guys that like 7 times, but sometimes you just need to hear it from somebody else. So that's a good point. And somebody asked a question, but I'm not exactly sure what you mean. You said, what do you say to someone that messaged you a while ago but never got into a group, and now they saw a post they made about getting I'm like confused exactly to what the question is.
So I had a girl, she messaged me like a couple of months ago asking me about Beachbody and what was it all about, and was interested in shakes. So I went through the whole spiel with her. She's like, all right, I'll think about it. Never really got back to me. I checked in a couple times, and then yesterday I saw her post on Instagram, like, got to get back into healthy eating and working out and all that stuff. So, like, how would you reapproach them?
Yeah, so if you already like that's always a good thing. If you had already kind of talked about that, I would message them and just first just be like, if I ever see somebody post about something, I don't immediately like strike like a cobra and go after him right away, in the sense of like, that's my first message. I'll say something like, depending on how long it's been since we talked, I always like to go to a person's page, whether it's their Instagram or their Facebook, go to their page and look for something to ask them about. So if they went on vacation or they posted that, their dog did something cute, I don't know. So I'll message them and say, hey, how have you been? I know we haven't talked in a while. I noticed on your Facebook page you did this, blah, blah, blah. You can, just strike up a conversation. And then once you talk back and forth with them a little bit, ask them how they've been, blah, blah, blah. And be like, oh yeah. And I noticed that you have posted, you really were, looking to get into health and fitness again. I know it can be so tough without that accountability or having somebody to, make sure, or that you feel supported, or however you want to word it. And then let them know, if you want, again, free groups are always a great way to invite. If you're feeling a little bit weird that you want to invite them, free groups are a perfect way to do that because it's free. You can be like, I have a group of some other people that are kind of feeling that same way too. You're going to get a grocery list meal plan, however you run your clean eating groups, and just kind of, bring that up. But I'm always big on that conversation and building relationships. So just strike up the conversation, and then just, after you've been talking for a bit, just be like, oh, by the way, I just like, and again, and that's just fear getting over it. If that makes you like feel a little bit weird, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. A lot of times coaches are like, I feel so weird doing it, but it's because you feel weird doing it. So you don't practice it. So you never get better at it. But the more you just like put yourself in that uncomfortable situation, the better you're going to get at it. And the more the words are just going to flow, and it's just going to feel more natural. So I would just say, just go for it. And then somebody else said, can you share a screenshot of your tracking document? So I'm assuming you're talking about Google Streak. I can send Lauren my Google Streak video. Again, I'm sure you guys, I know that Meg has talked about Teamsy, so I don't know if that's like floating around somewhere, but I know that my Google Streak is like specifically for my ADOS formula. So a lot of people want to see it versus like another YouTube kind of video. So I can send Lauren that, and it kind of just explains how I do that and how that whole system works. Because it is kind of confusing if you just go at it alone, but if you follow the video, I feel like it's a little bit more helpful. So.
And for those of you guys that don't know, Alexis, are you a platinum presenter?
Yes.
Okay. So for those of you guys that don't know, all of you are platinum presenters. You are all part of Christine Dwyer's downline. And yes, Alexis has one that is very specific to her system. So that would be awesome if you could send us that video. However, if you guys want to, there is a 30-day boot camp that Christine Dwyer developed, which if you guys don't know who Christine Dwyer is, you should. She is our upline. She is, she runs basically everyone in half of Beachbody is under her. So she has over 200,000 coaches. There's 400,000 in Beachbody. 200,000 of them are under her. And she has, I think, the most 15-star diamonds in her organization. Half of the millionaires, if not more, are in her organization. The majority of the elite coaches are in her organization. So she has, and it is her mission to reach out to everyone and everything and find out how to help us. And what she's done is created a Platinum Presenters University, and it is platinum. You can go to Platinum Presenters, and it's right there. All you need to do is use your screen name for Beachbody or your email, and create a password on her account, and you just use the password that Beachbody has set up for you. You can log in there and access her 30-day training for boot camp. The very first video that she does is teaching you how to use Google Streak and how to set it up. And she even gives you the templates to load into Google so that you can fill it out. And you can change the names and all of that stuff, but she has a video that breaks it down on how to use it, how to set it up, all of that. So definitely utilize that. It's an awesome, awesome tool for you guys to have. Just so if you didn't know about that, go check that out.
I didn't even know about that. So that's,
yeah.
I always just share because I teach this formula, it's
Right.
specific to that. But again, like I always say, the way I do stuff isn't necessarily law. So Christine is obviously a genius. So that's good to know. I knew she had the university, which if you guys if you check anything out in there, just check something out, because there's lots of awesome stuff in there. But I didn't know that she had that.
Right. And we also have, because we are with Brandy, we are also privy to all of Janelle Summers' trainings, all of her phone calls. We have access to her training websites as well. Clearly she knows what she's doing, since she's the highest paid coach in Beachbody. So I would definitely access that kind of stuff. Just for everybody who's always asking for more training, you don't know how to do something, make Google your best friend, and take advantage of the fact that we are part of a crazy successful team, y'all, and they share everything with us. So please, please, please utilize that. If you don't know how to access something, just ask, and I will make sure that you know how. But all right, well, if nobody, oh, good, I'm glad you listened to it. Janelle did a team call today, which kind of links into all of this. So I'm glad that you listened to it, Nicole. Hopefully that helped you with being able to do this now. Janelle did a team call today at 12 o'clock where she talked about how to get more followers and how to attract more people to you that are like you, to kind of find your tribe, so to speak. So there is a link to that in our team page. You can go check that out, and you can access the recording, I'm pretty sure, from the same link. So, but all right, well, we have been here for an hour. I am going to let Alexis go, since I told her it was 30 minutes. We always go over. But, yes, thank you so much for taking time out of your night to talk to us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. We'll talk about it in the team page. Discuss underneath of the little team call post. If you guys have questions or you just want to talk about it, definitely let us know what your thoughts are. All right. Bye, everyone.